Mr. Beck.
Well, thank you. Well, thank the three members for your excellent opening statements, and I wish that they could all be on the evening news tonight. The big issue in the room is jobs for Americans that want jobs. When I testified 2 years ago before the subcommittee, the concern was about bad jobs, but now it's about no jobs. Congressman Smith, nobody in Congress has paid attention longer or more steadfastly to the close relationship between immigration and the jobs of vulnerable Americans than you have over these many years, and we do salute you for that. This hearing is a flicker of hope that somebody up here is paying attention to some of the key numbers, and I believe that the key numbers that I have included in my written testimony, some of those key numbers you all have used in your opening statements, are numbers that talk to the necessity of changing immigration policy immediately. If this Congress is concerned about getting Americans back to work, this Congress needs to change immigration policy immediately. Of course, the administration needs to enforce the laws in the books, but that's not enough, and that's the point of my testimony. Congress needs to change the law. Let me make a few key numbers. The first number is around 7 million. Congressman Smith, you touched this very well. The fact is every illegal alien that is moved out of a job by enforcement opens a job for an unemployed American. It looks like at least 7 million construction, manufacturing, transportation, and service jobs that are currently held by illegal aliens that are being sought by far more than 7 million less educated Americans. I don't want to say too much more about that other than the fact that the Numbers USA is over 900,000 members in every congressional district wholeheartedly support the work that you and other members of this committee are doing to bring to the public attention the fact that immigration enforcement is one of the most effective jobs programs the government can have. Second number, 75,000. It appears that the American workers' own federal government in October issued permanent work permits to about 75,000 working-age immigrants. 75,000 new legal immigrant workers in just 1 month. Third number, 190,000. In October, 190,000 U.S. jobs were eliminated. It appears that our government added 75,000 new permanent foreign workers to compete with 16 million unemployed Americans for 190,000 fewer U.S. jobs in October alone. Since January 1, it appears that our government has brought in, or has given, permanent work permits to about 750,000 foreign workers. Why? Well, we know, you know, that it's because our immigration system is on automatic pilot. Doesn't matter how much American people are hurting. Our immigration system does not consider that immigration and jobs and unemployment have any relationship at all. And if you create a system like that, it will stick it to the unemployed Americans, certainly the most vulnerable Americans. Consider these numbers from the Department of Homeland Security. 2 years ago, before the recession began, the federal government issued around 830,000 green cards, permanent work permits, to working-age immigrants, 830,000. Then last year, which is the last official figures, during the first year of recession, the government gave away around 875,000 permanent work permits to immigrants. That was an average of about 75,000 per month. We have no indication from the DHS or any other source that there's been any significant reduction in the issuance of green cards. So it's safe for us to assume that every month this year, on average, DHS has been giving out 75,000 new permanent work permits, as we've lost, as you know, millions of jobs. Fourth number, 990,000. The White House proclaimed on October 30 that the $159 billion of stimulus money spent thus far, plus the $189 billion of tax relief this year, had created or saved 990,000 jobs. Putting aside the charges of critics that that number is too high to be credible, let's compare the 990,000 jobs claimed to have been saved or created to the 750,000 permanent work permits that our government gave to foreign workers. It appears that the majority of the $348 billion of stimulus and tax relief this year went for jobs needed just to keep up with the workers brought in by our immigration system. And please note, I'm not talking about all the hundreds of thousands of temporary workers that have been brought in. That needs to be looked at, but that's not the subject of my testimony. I suggest to you that these few simple numbers, if the American people had a chance to really look at them, would be forced upon Congress to see that they demand immediate attention. I don't see how we can look at these numbers and look at what's happening to the American people, the need for jobs, and justify one more month of giving away this many jobs, or at the very least bringing in this many competitors to compete with our unemployed Americans. And I believe that Congress could reduce the competition among unemployed Americans for U.S. jobs by tens of thousands per month at no cost, simply by suspending a lot of the immigration categories right now. This is not about making the decision about what to do long term. It's about as long as we have a jobs depression. Compare $0 to $350,000. The cost per job saved for American workers through any kind of immigration suspension is 0. You just change the number. The cost per job of the $348 billion of stimulus and tax relief, according to White House claims, was $350,000. Now, I'm not saying don't try to stimulate, but $350,000 per job versus 0 cost per job under suspension. Finally, I would just say, in my written testimony, I've outlined what I call 6 easy immigration changes, and one a little bit more complicated, that would most likely mean that hundreds of thousands, perhaps 1 million more Americans a year from now would be employed than otherwise if Congress would make those changes quickly. I thank you for providing a forum for these issues.
Thank you, Mr. Beck.